For more than 3 decades, the Essex Region Conservation Authority and the Essex Region Conservation Foundation have been working to protect and restore the critical natural resources of the Essex region. Some memorable highlights include the protection of the LaSalle Woods, the Chrysler Canada Greenway in Cedar Creek, and the creation of the shorebird habitat at Hillman Marsh. Along with the preservation of the natural environment, the Authority and the Foundation have devoted their resources to sustaining local heritage sites such as John R. Park Homestead and the Kingsville train station. These historical resources will be instrumental in teaching future generations about our history while ensuring our link to the distant past.
When Cadillac, the great French explorer, first explored the river and the islands, this area was lush. It had birds, it had waterfowl, it had fish. He referred to it as one of the heavenly places in North America. By 1970, we had effectively deforested to 5%. The real course of direction was to reverse the trend. Now we stand at almost 8%, and we're moving towards 12%, which is the United Nations minimum to be considered a green place.
Canada's a big country and we have some spectacular natural areas, but what people don't realize is most of those natural areas are found in places where most Canadians live. We have a huge population, we've transformed the landscape, and there are pockets of really critical habitat for rare plants and animals. When we looked at Ontario as a region and said, where are the most important areas for us to work? Essex Region ranked number 4 in terms of areas with rare species. This is one of the most important places for us to invest our time.
It's in our own best interest to care about the environment that we live in and to make sure we're doing everything that we can to make that environment better, not only for us but for our kids. This is where we live. This is our home.
This is the most threatened area. Why? Because of population, because of changes over the past few hundred years in terms of farming and industrial use, residential use. It's incredibly important from the conservation values, and it's still at very, very high risk.
With continued support from the community, the Essex Region Conservation Foundation can work alongside the Essex Region Conservation Authority to ensure that we can achieve a cleaner and healthier future for the region and for our children and grandchildren.
The brain trusts of the future are attracted to areas that have great places to go.
When you take a look at what people are seeking out, they're seeking out quality of life. They're seeking out the opportunity to be part of something that is going to contribute to future sustainability and growth. When you take a look at the impact of initiatives to reduce carbon footprint, it's attractive. People want to be part of a growing, vibrant, unique type environment.
I still think that we have that economic success, environmental protection at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Healthy ecosystems mean healthy economies, healthy population. We can't separate ourselves from the natural world. We are a part of it. We get a lot of services, clean air, clean water, pollinators for our agricultural plants, critical parts of what we're trying to protect.
The issue of sustainable development, the concept of sustainable development is increasingly becoming more important to organizations, and that's fantastic. IRCA's role in helping to achieve that balance is critical for us.
Jameson is involved in wellness. The main driver for us right now is a desire to pay back for some of the paper that we've used, whether it be the labels, the cartons, the shippers. We are consuming inwards of 450 tons of paper per year. That fact is of concern. We are endeavoring to plant 7,000 trees every year to replace that 450 tons of paper that we're using. We have been working with IRCA for a little while now. They are very active, very wise, able to help us through that process.
Many corporations are beginning to realize that very link between economy, health, and the natural world. For a lot of corporations, this is just a natural fit to be giving back and to be helping sustain the natural values in your community.
Corporate social responsibility is important for companies. Being part of a movement, being part of an environment where the communities take very seriously their leadership and their stewardship of protecting those natural assets. The leadership of IRCA in terms of protecting the environmental assets that we have, growing those environmental assets are critical to us. It's what has led to us being recognized globally as being a place with an incredibly high quality of life and standard of living.
We've been focused on the one pillar of economics, and now we don't have that. We're going to need to have more environmental sustainability, and economic will come.
Although our goal is to actually protect plants and animals, conservation is about people, impassioning and empowering people to care about the landscape that surrounds them. Part of what we're trying to do with the Conservation Foundation is to let people in this area know how special it is, not just within Ontario, but within Canada and in fact within the world.
There are no international boundaries. Wildlife don't observe it. The Detroit River is in Canada, it's in the US. We both draw from it, we both use it, we both need to be concerned about it.
The Essex Region Conservation Foundation and the Essex Region Conservation Authority have a significant track record of success.
Where this Conservation Authority stands out is the raw material that it was given to work with. When the authority started, we didn't have a lot of green space, and the authority has helped to change the mindset and to open our eyes to a new way of doing things, a different way of looking at things, and the possibilities and the opportunities that those hold. That's why we need to be glad and appreciative of the Conservation Authority and the leadership they've given.
If we see a community that supports an organization like ERCA, it tells us that the community is looking forward. We are understanding what ERCA does, we are understanding the effect of the environment on our future. Such a community has to be encouraged.
The Conservation Authority faces a perpetual challenge of money to acquire property, monies to preserve and protect properties. That, of course, in the days of belt tightening, which we're really going through right now in a big way, makes it a challenge.
We need resources, and that means funding. We are able to access funding from various sources, government sources, foundation sources, but private individuals are really what can make the difference. People are beginning to understand that we cannot separate ourselves from the natural world and the systems and services that the natural world provides for us. From a conservation perspective, we just can't keep waiting to fix some of the problems that have happened within our southern settled landscapes.
The Conservation Authority is saying, what's this going to look like in the future? What do we need to do for the long haul? Somebody has to ask those questions.
The steps we are taking are in the right direction. The number one thing we could do would be to garner more public support, because the more you know of what we're doing, the more you're going to want to participate.
It's important to pause and celebrate these many achievements with an eye toward the future, recognizing that there is still much work to do to attain a state of sustainability for our children and theirs. This kind of support needs to continue and grow. Together, we will succeed.